Hello, good evening, and welcome to UPfront. My name is Raymond Aqua, and today we're building up to that explosive expose, that particular expose that will tell you the people who are building up some form of militia inside government institution to whatever purpose will be unveiled later on, as in 2.5 hours' time, we'll be having that airing. But before that, we'll be having a bigger conversation on the cause, whether we mean it or not, to disband party militia in the country. After the break, we'll continue our conversation. You're welcome. This is UPfront. My name is Raymond Aqua. My guest today is a minister in the ministry that is perhaps expected to lead the charge in making sure that the political situation in the country is calm and reflecting what we want to see. That is the Ministry of Religion and also chieftaincy in the country. The Honorable Paul Essien, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Raymond.
Of course, he's also a member of Parliament. We'll start this conversation. I'll be going to the phone lines and be speaking to the minority spokesperson on security and defense on this expose you should expect in the next 2.5 hours' time, where we show you through proper journalism and investigative work, the people who are being trained perhaps for election 2020 in government institutions at a time, of course, that we're talking about banning and, of course, disbanding the various groups that have been acting in such capacities for a very long time. We'll come back to that particular issue in a second. But, Honorable, let's start from the ministry that you are a part of. How is the ministry positioning itself to deal with this rather serious issue of party militias and vigilante groups?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to greet your listeners this evening. The Minister of Chieftaincy is purposely in to look at the issues of chiefs and traditional religious activities in Ghana. I believe that with this kind of issues that is coming up in the nation, the issue about vigilantism, where political parties are coming out with people who can protect them rather than having confidence in the state security. I think the ministry can play a role. In every community, we have traditional leaders over there. Every community, we have religious leaders over there. And I believe each and every one belongs to a particular community and also belongs to a traditional, religious bodies. If chiefs and pastors are involved in this organization, I believe that we will also make a headway.
Okay, that's interesting to note. Mostly, and of course, even Peace Council is predominated by chiefs and also religious leaders. This presupposes that these are people who want to position properly to resolve some of this problem, because sometimes they are bare partisan politics in all of its forms. Is there a roadmap to get them involved actively in resolving the current problem?
Well, the ministry, it has not come to our notice that we've made a roadmap as to whether we are involving the chiefs or traditional religious bodies in this particular exercise. But if you cast our mind by, if you look at every community in Ghana here, the highest respected person in the community is either a chief. The next is the religious leaders, the pastors, the church elders, and so forth. Now, these people, if well positioned, I believe they can be in the position to help resolve some of these issues. I happen to be an assemblyman for a period of 4 years. And I remember during my tenure, there were some issues we had to settle in the palaces. The community elders, the chief, people come to summon and other issues. We sit down sometimes from 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning. By the time you rise up, probably it's around 4 o'clock. Some of these issues come up, small issues like this. We resolve them and settle them at the community level. So they stand a chance of coming into these particular issues and help resolve the matters as it confronts us as a nation. So what I know for now is that it hasn't come to the notice. Has been a plan of the ministry as a roadmap to involve the ministry in setting up some of these, how do you call it, committees or whatever to deal with these issues. But if it comes to the attention of the ministry, and the ministry is given a role, I believe the directive of the president was very clear. And the response even to the NDC response and the response from the president was also very clear. So I think that it is a call in the right direction for us to sit down as a nation and try and see which ways we all as a nation can use to settle or put an end to this particular issue. But the one thing I also want us to see, there is the saying that there is no smoke without fire. There's no smoke without fire. Some of these things coming up, if we don't take care, at the end of the day, it can generate into a lot of things. So I believe that, yes, it's true. We can involve the chiefs, we can involve the religious leaders, and they'll be in a better position to help resolve these matters. What can they do? That's the specific question that many are asking. Yeah, you see, that's why I said the highest respected person in every community is the chief. The next is the religious leaders. If they are supposed to serve as mediators, we can form, we have eminent chiefs. I mean, you remember when this issue of the Dagbon happened. Yeah. I mean, who were the people who were called to at least be the peacemakers or to look at it, to settle this issue and make sure that we have a peaceful, traditional, or let's say peaceful community like Dagbon, as we talk of today. So if really we want to tackle it and we involve them, they will be in a better position to help. Reverend ministers are there. They go to their churches, they preach every day. How do you call it? The chiefs are also there. I mean, they are all in their various communities. And we have high respected chiefs in Ghana. Likewise, or same to the religious body. So if we should bring them together, call them, ask them to at least help settle this, call the two political parties, say them that let's give them a timeline. I'm of the view that they'll be in a better position to help to settle this matter. Okay, it sounds interesting in this particular case, but some have said that some of these chiefs and also the religious leaders, to be fair, some of them are really partisan, or their utterances, their position has been seen to belong to one group or the other. Will they be the ones who will come to the rescue of what looks like a politically heated issue? I would not agree that they seem to be more partisan or whatever it is. Let me say this. There is a saying that the wise who refuse to take part in the government lives under the government of West men. Aside their rule that they are chiefs and that they need not to involve themselves in active politics, aside their rule as religious bodies that they need not to involve themselves in active politics, because they head congregations who belongs to the various political parties. So in one way or the other, if you don't take care and you speak on any political issue, you may be affecting a side of your congregation, which probably may not go well with your, how do you call it, your church or your community as a chief. But the fact that they are bound not to be involved in active politics, they are Ghanaians, they have relatives, they have families, members they talk to. And I think that if something happens in Ghana, they are also in Ghana here. Aside that, they have the right to comment on any issue that affects the lives of every Ghanaian, which they also form part of it. So if they are also expressing their views and coming out with whatever they also think that is not good for the nation, especially when political parties begin to come out with certain threatening issues, certain issues that even does not even allow you to sleep, they have the right to come out. And even if they come out to speak, it does not necessarily mean that they are being partisan. The issue in Ghana here, if you do something and you belong to a political party and I speak against it, it means I'm against, either I'm for you or against you. That is what we think. But I think if we should, I remember when we were in opposition, some people were even saying that the how do you call it, the Peace Council chairman is an NDC. Now look at what came out from the how do you call it, the NDC meeting when the chairman was having a meeting with the. But this state is being disputed by the NDC. And why wouldn't it be? And and listen to the chairman himself, who was saying that for now, for the first time, I'm going to endorse you insulting the chairman of the Christian Council, one who was perceived to be an NDC. Look at how the NDC is also standing back. So we are in a country where if you speak your mind of a particular thing, they tag you with a particular color just because you've spoken against it. But I believe that that is what should be done. That if you see something going on, probably you think it's not good, you need to come out and speak against it. And that is what will tell us we are. If you go to, if you listen carefully recently, when even Trump took over as president, there were people in high position who said we want to resign because they were not happy with what was going on. How many Ghanaians will take that bold decisions and say we are doing that? I believe that it is Ghana first and not a church or a community or a chief or a political party. Because at the end of the day, if there's seriousness or there's something in Ghana, it affects all of us as a nation. The pastor has a family. He may not be able to run with all his families. The chief has a family. He may not be able to run with all his families. So it may be very good if he should come out openly to condemn certain things. Probably the followers of that particular pastor will also come to understand that even if I'm involved in some things, probably which may also affect the state, the security of the state, I may, because of my pastor or my chief who has come out to at least condemn that, I may also take a second look at it and probably advise myself on that issue.
I'm getting you. I mean, you seem to think that these chiefs and religious leaders are better arbiters of this situation.
Seriously, because you see, before we realized that even in the olden days, when you go through the scriptures, who were those who were settling matters and issues and other things? It was the chiefs, it was the religious leaders. So I don't see a situation whereby if we bring them in here, they cannot help. We have, as a nation, we have distinctly separated them and made them neutral.
Okay. We
have made them neutral, not belonging to any political party. Why are they not involved in this particular issue? So we, as a nation, have to look at it as that. They are the people who stand neutral.
Okay.
And we have level-headed among them, persons among them, which, of course, if we should look at, I remember when President Kufuor set up this particular reconciliation committee. Look at the caliber of people who were involved. Some of them, I remember Reverend was part of it. Yeah. And look at listening to them, listening to the questions that were coming. I have had the opportunity to have meetings with a lot of paramount chiefs. And I tell you, if they meet, there are professors among them. There are doctors. I mean, people, some of them hold their PhD, even though they are chiefs. So, and even the reverend ministers, some of them, they recently, how do you call it, had gone Pentecost. I'm a Pentecost member, so Reverend Opoku, he's a professor. So are we saying that these people cannot be in a position to look at some of these issues and help us as a nation? I believe that if we should resort to them, bring them on board, I tell you, I don't think even any political party will come up and say that we never understood whatever went on. I am of the view that if chiefs, religious leaders are involved in this particular issue, actually, they will even be the best option than any other.
The argument is that they are not the people who train vigilante groups. They are not the people who are in charge of these vigilante groups. So why would you want to get them involved when indeed these are groups with no known vigilante group history?
Yeah, when issues happens in communities, as I was talking about, people fighting, people pulling knives and other things in community level, they are not the people involved. Yet when they come in, they are able to settle the matter for it to rest forever. So I don't think you need to be involved in something before you have an idea of it. It doesn't speak like that. So my view is that it is about peace. It's about understanding. They coming up with a committee involving chiefs and religious leaders, calling the two political parties, sitting them down, the major political parties sitting them down, discussing this issue with them, telling them we need to build on as a nation. We need to put aside all this. We have security forces who are strongly behind us, who are capable of doing whatever they need to do, what they may assign to do. I am of the view that they will be in the best position. We have established what is called the Peace Council. Who are the leaders of the Peace Council? And why the need for this Peace Council? People who are championing this Peace Council are the people who will be able to, if they are talking about peace, what can bring about peace? And if you set up a committee that looks into peaceful matters and other things, then I believe they will be in a position also to settle this matter, even though they were not the people who set up the...
Let me be clear. So why haven't you already put this in motion? Why have you as a superintendent ministry put this in motion so that it can work out?
No, the directive of the president was very clear. You see, you have set up your group. I've also set up my group. What then do we need to do? We need a third person to come and tell us disband them. The only thing, the president directive was very clear that call them, MPP, call your vigilantism, call the group, whether it's a data for whatever it is, NDC, call your group, talk to them, let everybody disband, put everything aside. Henceforth, that's why I was very happy when the president said, if we don't do anything about it, it's going to how do you call it, issue a legislative instrument in this particular exercise, so that as a nation we see that if you form this group, you are liable to face some how do you call it, legal charges in the country. So I don't see the need, whether we are involved or we are not involved. But the issue is that if political parties feel that, that is where we need to go. I think if we involve them, there's nothing wrong. If we don't involve them, and they are asked also to sit down and settle the issues and disband them so that we don't have these things anymore, I think as a nation we can go on.
We'll take a break. After the break, we'll continue our conversation with the Deputy Minister in the Chieftaincy Ministry, and the crux of our conversation bordering the more important issue of party militias and how best to deal with them. After this break, we'll continue this conversation. Welcome back. This is UPfront. My name is Raymond Alqua. My guest today is the Deputy Minister in the Chieftaincy and Religions Ministry here in the Republic of Ghana. The crux of our conversation is what role can these chiefs and also religious leaders play in the quest to make sure that we have a state that responds and also is very, we've gotten rid of every single vigilante grouping in the country. Of course, you remember that the current conversation is a quest to disband the groups, make sure that we don't have them operating in this nation in the way that they've been doing and causing mayhem and chaos as is being known. After that, we also work on violence and the things that came out of that. We'll continue our conversation, but on this, we should be going to the phone lines pretty soon too. Honorable, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So, the crux of our conversation is we've established they can intervene.
Exactly.
And I was asking why you don't think that it should be now. Because for the first time, the opposition is asking them to come on board because it believes they are in the better position to help them come to some conclusion. Okay. Indeed, the idea of the opposition is that we have been talking to the parties for a very long time. The solution should be when we have respected people like that mediating the conversation.
Yeah, I understand you. You see, the issue is that the question is, why can't the two of you meet and look at the issues? And probably if there's the need, then you can come out with solutions, even at the meeting. It should not be one party saying that we want ours in this way. Neither should it be another party saying we want ours in this way. The first gentleman of the land has called us the most respected person on the land. We all accord the needed and the due respect to, irrespective of the political party you belong to. And he is saying that, he being the father, we, the political parties, the two political parties should meet and look at the issue and disband it. That is the first call. Okay. So, meet. In your meeting, if there are other issues that will, probably, if issues comes up and you believe that, no, this issue is coming up, we cannot sit here and settle this matter. And therefore, we need a third party. That is where government will look at it and see if the need be for him to come out with a commission or a committee to look at it and be in between as an mediator to settle this for you. But for the meantime, you've not met. You are calling for an external or a third force to be part of the meeting. So meet. What is it that we cannot settle? Even when you read the Bible, we are coming from the religious, so let me even come into the scripture. When you read the Bible, it says that if you are at loggerhead with your brother, go to him or her. If you go to him or her and you discuss the issues and it doesn't solve, go to him again. If it doesn't solve, go and look for another person. That is where. So you've not had a meeting. I'm told the NPP chairman tried to extend some had calls to
he made a phone call.
Exactly, to see how best they can meet and trash out. Not long, we also heard that the NEC chairman has written a letter responding to what the president also said. And president has also responded back or replied their letter. So what I only want to say is that the most important thing is that the first point of call, let us meet, sit down. Probably we thinking that it's impossible, but by the end of the day, at the meeting, we may even resolve this. You know, when we meet as politicians, we don't fight as we hear us in the air. Because when we go into the chamber, when we meet as political party, we see us as friends, as brothers and nothing. So I believe that when there's a meeting, if they should meet at a round table, put the issue before them, try and see how best they can resolve this, I think they can have a lasting solution to it. Okay. It is only if, that is why the president gave a condition, if they are unable, then he will be forced to issue a legislation in this matter. So I think that we need to respond to the first call rather than coming with other strings attached and make sure that and try and see whether we can really resolve it or we cannot resolve it. If you go to the round table and you cannot resolve it, the issue will come out and the media will be there listening to whatever is going on. They will blow the news out and we will all get to know that they couldn't resolve the issue themselves. Therefore, the directives of the president will also come again. Then we'll see where we can head to. But at this particular time, I don't think there's the need for us to say, let's go and bring the chiefs, let's go and bring the traditional, the religious leaders, let's go and bring the police council, let's go and bring the peace council. What we need to do as a state, pair the directives, let's sit down. When we sit down, and at the end of the day, we are unable to find a solution to this, then we come in. You know, coming in with other people to come and solve, it's an additional, it's a cost to the state. You know that. But if it is done at the expense of the traditional political parties, we will not have any cost to the state. And that, at the end of the day, they formed it, they have disbanded it, the nation is free. We are moving on as the nation. But
you are still refusing to get the point what the people say. They are insisting that this is not the first time we have a meeting like this. It's never gone on well unless we have mediators who are going to be in the position to help us out. You also admit that the chiefs what kind
of meetings have they had together?
No, that's what he said. That
so it cannot be just a mere word. It cannot be a mere word.
So you believe that when they do it more than 5 times or 6 times,
no, you see, you've not tried it.
They said they've met. I mean, how do you get to know? You are not in the political party's operations.
Those things have been just a mere say, but they should meet. Have you ever heard that NDC MPP had a meeting,
yes, of course,
which was not called by any other person?
So it's been so before prior to 2012 and also prior to 2016.
What kind of meeting was it?
They actually held one in Dodowa at the Forest Hotel, clearly to discuss vigilante groupings and whether to disband them. Indeed. Okay, so there wasn't a person who called. It was facilitated by the FES. I know that for a fact.
So there was a facilitator. So
yes,
the issue is that
in this case, there's also a facilitator determined in this case.
The NPP chairman or NPP party in government now, well, it should call the NDC.
But what's the difficulty with government? What's the big deal in saying that let others be part of it? Why is government hesitant to doing so?
No, you see, let me say this. It is not bad. But what I'm saying is that you've been asked to do something. You've not done it. You've not gotten the end result of it, yet you are calling for another thing.
They are insisting that that has happened before and is not resolved in anything meaningful.
Has the president given them directives that they should meet in his lifetime before and has never worked before? No,
but to be fair, I mean, the president they even consider as a party to this problem. In fact, they believe that his utterances in times past equally have contributed to where we are today.
I don't want us to be going to this.
I get you.
I don't want us to, because
they do not trust enough.
That's why I said there is no smoke without fire. So I don't want us to be.
You copy what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I'm saying that they do not, and this is a position of a grouping that's insisting to you that if you want us to be on the table with you for a meaningful conversation, not like what we've done in times past, let these parties be there. What do we lose if the Peace Council sits in the conversation and moderate it?
Yeah.
Like they did for the Peace Accord, like they did for the other one that we held in Kumasi. What do we lose at the end of this?
Is a look at the issue that happened in that one. Can you tell the two parties to meet just like that? That is a different thing. This one is just, there has not been any serious crash between NDC and PP. There has never. There has never. This was not a crash between NDC and PP. It is never so. But what we saw was NDC people trying to what? Come out with something. There are a lot of tips outside, which I don't want us to go there right now as we speak now. But what I just want to say is that the first point of call has to be respected. After, then we'll look at it and see whether we're able to reach a conclusion or we're unable to reach a conclusion. That is what is important. Well, that is what is important. But if we don't meet and we try to say, let this come, let this come, let this come, at the end of the day, where are we heading towards? Or where are we heading to? My belief is that let's listen to the president. For the first call that has come, he's saying that the two political parties should meet. Let's meet. When we meet and we are on, that is what he made. It was even, there was a condition attached to it. There was a condition. If you don't do it, I'll be forced. So there was a condition attached to it. So if you don't do it, let me tell you this. We are talking about this because it happened in Accra here. Pressmen were all over. videos, visuals, and other things were being seen. Other areas we never saw. If we had even seen that, it would have been even worse than what we even witnessed recently. But President is saying he's not going back to that. And what government is saying is that two political parties meet. This issue has happened in the past. It is not time for me to pay you. This and that and this and that. We need to say no to all these things. You do me, I do you. It's now it should be a thing of the past. We shouldn't be revisiting past issues any longer. Therefore, what do we need to do? Let's sit down. Enough is enough. Let me say this. If you read the Bible, Jacob was not happy with Esau. At a point in time, Jacob went away because he realized that the brother may kill him because of what he did to him. At a point in time, he also felt that, no, there's the need for me to meet my brother. The two of them came to meet. There was no mediator. The two of them came to meet. There was no mediator. And they settled the issue between the two of them. There was nobody in between them to say that you didn't do what is right and you did what is wrong, and therefore let's punish you, or let's do this, or there was nothing like that. So I believe that we need to respect the call of the president. He is the first gentleman of the land. Listen to him, and whatever he has come out with, at the end of the day, if we do it and there's no solution, he also know the next step to take, so that it will help us, because his wish is that we don't see this anymore. That is why even the committee has been set. The commission set has never been done before. Okay. We have had several, how do you call it, by-elections. But the question is, after every by-election, there's confrontations. Have we set a commission before? No. But he's seeing this. He said, no, it cannot happen any longer. He could have said, let me wait for about 2 or 3 or 4 times to happen, so that you pay me, I pay you. Okay. But he never waited. For the first time that happened, even his party in government, he said, no, let me set up a commission to investigate into this and find a lasting solution to this. At the end of the day, we don't want any Ghanaian to suffer any election violence. And that's what we are looking at as a state. So I believe that political parties should listen. Various political, we have elected our leaders because we think they are capable of leading our political parties. MPP has done that. From the leadership, from the chairmanship, to the least person in the party who was elected at the National Congress, is a very important personality. Likewise, the NDC, we have a high respect for them. And we believe that they represent us at every stage. And we also believe that we don't see the reason why the two of them should not understand each other. They have understanding among themselves. And therefore, we believe that when they meet, with the high IQ they have, they'll be able to resolve this matter. And it will die once and for all. So I believe that we first have to respond to what the president said. Let's have the meeting. At the end of the day, if things turns the other way around, President has another directive to give. He is the man of, we have entrusted everything into his care. And he is not looking at a Ghanaian, not even a single Ghanaian, whether you belong to NDC or MPP, to lose his life. No, that is not his wish. Really? That is never his wish. So I believe that we political parties have to come together, see the need. In as much as we go into the chamber, we shake hands, we are together, unlike what happens in other countries. But we are together all the time, even in committee meetings. We contribute effectively to decisions. We make decisions on the floor. I mean, we come to a conclusion the same way. So if a minority and majority are able to sit in parliament, are able to sit in committees, we come to understanding. Why not? Well, even the leadership of the committees and even parliament belongs to political parties. Yet we are able to sit down. We don't bring in neutral people to look at these issues for us. At the end of the day, we disagree to agree. And we move on as a nation. I get your point. Now, let me ask you this question. Yeah. Does the NPP have vigilante groups? Does the NPP? Yes. I would say no. Are there vigilante groups or party militia associated with the NPP? Associated? Yes. I would say no. Really? Yeah. Invisible forces? Sure, I would say no. They are not part of the party? Yeah. Invisible forces have been called security of the party before. No, no. Let me explain something to you. I mean, by the then youth organizer of the party, are you aware? Let me explain something to you. No, I'll just ask you a direct question. Individuals, let me come out. Individuals have their own people who they call them as security forces. And they move with them. I may be a sympathizer of the New Patriotic Party. So if there's something happening somewhere and I have my group, I can go there with them. It does not necessarily mean the party has those people. That is the distinction we need to be clear of.
I see.
Yeah, that is it. So I have not seen MPP registering a group of them. Neither have I even seen NDC doing that.
Okay.
Are you getting me? So what we need to do, if they belong to individuals in the party who owns those groups, the question is, we should come together and disband them. Are you getting me? Yeah, yeah. There are people who call themselves sympathizers of the party.
So who are the people in the MPP who actually own vigilante?
I cannot say Kofi or Ama. Or, I don't.
Do you know them?
I don't know any of them.
So how do you claim that there will be people like that?
It is possible. It is possible people.
So you don't know that for a fact?
I don't know that for a fact. That Kofi or Mr. This or Honorable this has this. No,
so you don't know people that own the invisible forces?
What I saw.
Yes.
I think when NDC were having their, how do you call it, meeting in Kumasi, was when some people were being trained and were told that the former deputy minister for Asante region in the NDC regime.
Talking about invisible forces, you are talking about Hawks or whichever group?
No, I'm coming.
Yes, but I asked you a question about
invisible forces. Whom do they belong to? That is the question.
You don't know them?
No, I'm saying who do they belong to?
You don't know them.
MPP as a party has not registered.
But you are minister in deputy position for chieftaincy and religious affairs. Exactly. You cannot be claiming you have no idea of the invisible forces.
Idea in such a way. I know there are people like that who call themselves as a group, call themselves invisible forces. It's a group.
What did they do for the MPP?
They do for the MPP.
What they do for the MPP?
That is why I said there are people who are sympathizers of political parties.
They are sympathizers of political parties.
There are a lot of them.
The invisible forces.
No, I'm saying that there are a lot of groups like this who are sympathizers of political parties.
Okay, how do we react to the revelation? And if you have time, I'm sure you'll join us to watch it at 8:30 p.m. tonight. Okay. About a state institution, or a facility belonging to the state, being used by people purported to be government officials, specifically recruited and being trained as party militia. They are called DI. Do you know about them?
I don't know, and I have not even heard about them.
Not at all?
Not at all.
You, the deputy?
Oh, I have not heard about that. I don't know. I don't even know what you are talking about.
So, what's your reaction to this particular revelation?
That people call the I.
Yes, they are being trained. They are members of your party, whichever way they're coming from. The most important part is that they are being trained in a state facility.
Remo, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
For instance, if I want to form a security company in my constituency, so that various company that comes there they will have the opportunity to at least recruit from such security companies. Are you getting me? And I invite, let's say, a senior police officer to do training for them or train them for me, probably at a service. The question is, when you come and you see such a thing, what will you draw? What will be your conclusion?
Is that what's happening now?
No, I'm asking you. I'm just putting you a question.
But if you don't know, how do you surmise that a possible situation like this
I'm asking you, will you see that to be that I am using state institutions to do a training for people for my party? I'm only putting a question like that to you to see whether I don't know. I have not seen and I have not heard. And officially, there has not been anything officially from the police service or the naval base or the army that we are training people who belongs to a political party. So I cannot make much comment about it. But I'm giving you a scenario because in my area, for instance, in Jomoro, for instance, where now we are is being turned as the oil hub. Are you okay? It is my wish that there are some of the guys who never attended school, and we intend to form a security company, so that when this companies comes up, probably we can be giving some of them to them, so that they'll also be getting some kind of employment, because some of them don't have that certificate.
So the question
that
I'm
qualifies.
You
I'm coming. So
we have a report that authoritatively says that a militia group which is associated with your party and the government is being trained at an important facility. This is a state facility, which has been called a security zone. And this group has been meeting there for the past 2 years. That's what I want you to react to.
Well, I cannot react to it because we don't have the source. We don't have the how credible is it? No, that is what I'm saying. You say you made a statement that it's being trained.
Yeah.
By what? The state. Is that not it?
Yeah.
The question is it the police service who is training them? I want to know. Is it the army who is training them? I want to know, is it the neighbor who is training them?
You doubt that this is possible?
I'm coming.
Are you doubting that this is possible?
Why not? Because there should be an official statement.
From who?
Whatever institution they are talking about, that they are training their people who are purported to be MPP people.
Really?
There should be. Because if the police come out and they say that, really we are training people who belongs to the MPP, fine, then we all know what to talk about. If the army comes out and they say we are training people who are purported to be MPP people, then we...
But does this shock you, though?
If there is no official statement, there is no clear evidence on those bases. I mean, somewhere you go and you see people, some group somewhere, and you take a photograph and you present
that's what you think happened?
Well, I'm not...
I see. That's what you think happened.
No. I'm not saying that this is what happened or this is not what happened.
But since you have since you have not seen this footage,
yeah,
would you rather not be circumspect in your commentary because you don't know the evidence of the thing?
I'm not sure state institutions will accept political parties.
You don't know that for a fact.
No, what I'm saying, I'm not sure
but
that state institutions will accept political parties, people, and just train them for the sake of the political party. I'm not sure.
You are really been following.
Yeah,
sorry. You have been following the Ayahuasca West.
You heard what the president said.
You have been following the Ayahuasca West Wagon Commission, right?
Yeah.
You know that the man who calls himself polling station executive of the MPP
exactly.
is actually part of the National Security Operatives.
Yeah.
National Security is a state institution.
Yeah.
He was training for 3 weeks.
Exactly.
So it is not impossible for a state institution to do this. The evidence is double.
Let me give you this.
No, but you know that for a fact, right?
Let me come.
So you cannot make that claim. You cannot make that claim that this is the case.
Let me give you a scenario here. Raymond.
No, but I need you to admit that Raymond, it cannot be the case that there's no evidence that suggests that state institutions have trained people like this before. And the evidence is the double case. Are you disputing double?
Listen, double was employed. There are two different things here. Let me make things clear.
Was it trained? The crux of our conversation was... the crux of our conversation was whether he was trained. Was he trained? He says he was trained for 3 weeks as a secretary to be in the national security.
Raymond, in the national security.
Yes.
How long do they train their personnel?
No, sorry. I don't get your point.
No, I'm coming. How long do they train their personnel? Is that the 3 weeks they give to them as a normal training for them?
Are you disputing that?
You let them come. Is that, or are they supposed to be trained 1 year? Are they supposed to be trained 6 months? That they never did. The question is...
Until 2017, that the MPP came into office, this group, the ones that wore guns, the one with the, what they call it, clothing, very separate one, the ones that wear NSC on their black shirts, were they in existence?
You see, let me say
no,
this.
But you are talking about training
you
period.
remember when
I'm asking you whether...
the late...
Because we know that this is a special group. This is a freshly recruited group, right?
Raymond, let me come. You remember in 2012, in 2008, when 2009, when President the late President Atamers took office, his first 6 months, we saw different kinds of security officers. Some of us were surprised. Where are they coming from? Who are they? I mean, who are you to question the authorities of the security service as to who they need to be this, who they need to be this? So the issue about uniform. Let me come. I remember the uniform the police is wearing now was introduced during President Kufuor's era. True or false?
Yeah,
before that, I'm coming. Before that, have you ever seen the police wearing that uniform before in Ghana here?
Your point is?
The question was no. So my question or my point is that we don't have a law. Do you have a law that says that if somebody does not go to SS or university or O level, it cannot be a security officer?
Nobody is questioning that. I'm saying you stated that government and state institutions never train party people and put them into these institutions. And I'm saying that the evidence suggests in Double's case that this is not true. No,
you are not getting me. The Double you talked about in the commission's hearing, he was questioned and he was asked, what were you doing before you? He said, I was a phone seller. There are a lot of people in the market who are phone sellers.
Yes.
The fact that I have worked for a party before, like a police station executive before, does not necessarily mean that I cannot hold any office in Ghana here.
That's not being disputed.
No, that is the angle.
So the claim here is that you agree that party people can be trained by state institutions, as has been seen in this case.
Not party people. Every person in Ghana can be trained.
Yes, and that does not.
Every person who is employed,
people, right?
Like if I'm employed in the police service, I can be trained. If I'm employed in the national security, I can be trained. If I'm employed in the armed forces, I can be trained. Unless you are employed in that particular sector, you cannot be trained there. So the sector trains people who has recruited.
Is this right? Is it right for a militia group to be trained specifically at an important state facility? Is it right?
No, it's not right.
Is it condemnable?
That how they call it?
A militia group
who belongs to purported to belong to a particular party.
Yes.
Oh no, I don't think a political party will even take people to any or institutions will even accept people like this and train them. Yeah, that is why I say, see,
okay, so
let me
give
you a scenario here. Raymond,
it's not right, right?
Raymond, let me give you a scenario here. In everything, you need to find out. That is why I was given a scenario that if you come to Jomoro and you see a police officer who is still in service, and I ask him to help train my personnel for me, you may draw a conclusion without knowing what actually it is. My concern here, if there's an evidence of that nature, the police service are there, they should contact them. Why are you training these people at this particular center? The IGP will respond to that. Chief of the CDS is also there. If people are trained in the army, so that you get a credible source, then you get to understand the whole concept before you give a judgment to it. I don't know whether we've gotten an official report coming out from the police service, coming out from the armed forces, coming out from the naval base or whatever, telling us that MPP brought personnel for us to train them. So I can't either accept or agree or disagree with you that people are being trained at and how do you call it, state institutions. I don't know. I only know for a fact that
if it's so, then it's wrong.
No, we can't do that. We cannot do that as a nation. That political parties will give people to how do you call it, state institutions to be training them on what basis when they have not been recruited, but train them because of political party in the name political party. I don't think. I think that will not happen in Ghana.
Can we ever get to the bottom of this militia problem?
Yeah, sure, we can.
Do you think that the political parties are committed to this?
They are, because you listen to recently the comment coming from NDC, coming from even though after the tape that came out, we could see that there is some sort of how do you call it, calm in terms of how do you call it, people's tensions that went up in the various camps, and people are getting to understand that there's the need for us to disband all these things. So I think when the
the political parties have not met on this matter.
how do you call it, Raymond, let me make this clear. NDC have been in power. MPP has been in power. The question is, are we able to go back to say, let's look at the qualifications of all the people in the national security or even in the security services? Who are they? Are we able to do that? Is it because this issue has come out? That is why we are trying to paint a picture as if MPP has recruited all data forces into the national security. We shouldn't paint that picture.
I see.
We shouldn't paint that picture at all. My concern is that
if I'm a Ghanaian
and I qualify for a particular office, irrespective of the political party I belong to, I need to be given that work to do.
You are a member of parliament?
Yes.
You represent the people of Jomoro?
Jomoro, exactly.
Do you think that this matter ought to be probed by parliament?
You see, you are don't make how do you call it? I have not seen the tape you are talking about. Neither have I even set my eye on it. So how do I give a conclusive how do you call it, statement on this matter? I have not seen it.
That's conclusive, right?
Yes, I have not seen it.
A probe, I see it. That's conclusive.
I have not seen it. So I cannot make a comment on what I have not seen. If I set on my eye on and I see that no, this act. You remember when the ACP was at the commission? He said, for this one, my people went beyond the extreme.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? There are certain things. If I see something that is not good about my party, I'll talk about it.
You don't seem to do that.
Me?
Yes,
I'll talk about it. If I see something about my party, I'll talk about it.
But this is not worth commenting on. This is not worth talking about.
No, but I'm not seeing anything. That is what I said. What happened at Ayawaso was not between NDC and MPP.
Really?
It was not between NDC and MPP.
It was between
and
which
the
groups?
MPP people never went there to fight. It is something we need to be clear of. MPP people never went there to fight.
It was between government and the
There was no
NDC.
forces between of MPP against NDC.
It was
No.
between government and the NDC.
I would not say it is between government and NDC. It was between the security forces.
Which part
and
of government,
people
actually?
who were purported to
The
be.
security forces in this country is part of government.
I'm coming. People who were. They see, you're listening to
The IGP is appointed by the president, the National Security Minister.
Raymond, when you
His
listen to the hearing, you realize that what almost all of them came to say was that they had an information. Yesterday, I was listening to a tape, and the tape I listened to was coming from a top NDC person who was saying that it was our people who went and blew the news that there are Azoka boys in this place.
You verified the tape?
No, I'm saying that is what I heard.
Oh, I see. And you believe it?
No. You see, that's what I heard. Whether it is true or not. So
okay.
It will not be out of context. If the national security people said they also heard in information, which also led them to the place, it will not be out of context. It was the national security that got the information, not the MP people who got the information and went to attack somebody. No. So the decision has to be clear. MP people never went there to fight.
Okay, so it's instructive, but let's move beyond this particular issue. Yeah. What's the ministry been up to? What happened to Jerusalem program?
Yeah, in May we are going. You see, you need to talk much about this. That is what is important.
Really?
Really.
I see.
You see, because you see, the vision of the ministry is that at least the various faiths has to be at least increased.
How many times has this trip been organized?
Yeah, we've gone for, I think, last year, last 2017 we went, 2018 we also went. Okay. So twice. 2017, the number was about 50. And 2018, we were about 200. Yeah, so it's increasing. Now even we've gotten some members and some people who are also coming out with.
So if anybody wants to be part of it, what do they do?
Oh, you just come to the ministry. We have distributed the forms to the various banks. You go there, you buy the form. It's 100 Ghana. You fill it. When you fill it, that doesn't give you automatic qualification. You need to come for vet. We will call you for a vetting. We'll screen you. Before finally, we ask you to go and pay your $2,700, which also gives you the... now, the $2,700 includes your ticketing, in and out, your hotel bills, your your in Israel rounds, the cars you'll be using, the tour, and other, your feeding and other. So all is inclusive. Today, even some pastors were in my office and they told me that for about 5 years ago, they took some pastors to Israel and they paid more than $2,700.
I see.
So as I told you some time ago that we are only facilitators. We trying to facilitate so that the state doesn't incur cost on this particular thing. We intend to work for all religious bodies. Therefore, if Christians are coming up with some of these things, that we need to help them. So I just want to encourage you. I went there last year myself. Okay. It was very interesting and very encouraging.
But I don't have that kind of money, so...
No, it's not about that money. But you should try and go there. You are a Christian, are you not?
Yes, I am.
And you are a follower of Jesus Christ, are you not?
Yes, I am.
And it is good for you to go and say that this is where Jesus Christ was buried.
I'm not getting my point. I'm saying that I don't have the money.
Oh, you can look for sponsorship.
I see.
You to
take me to Israel.
No, I mean, you are a big man. Raymond, you are not a small man. Okay, you have members of parliament who come here. You have big people. You invite them all the time here.
I have a question.
If you come to all of us and say, "Oh, everybody, give me $5, I mean, you'll be supported to embark on such trip so that you can buy.
On the National Cathedral.
Yeah.
What's the status of this particular National
Cathedral? You see,
the
cathedral is at the office of the president. It's not the responsible. It is not at the expense of the, let's say, the ministry. It is totally at the office of the... So
you don't know its current status?
No. You remember in December, President met the various committee members. They had to come out with some plans and that. The chairman of the committee, that is a Bishop Duncan William, I think, being the chairman of the... I mean, they met on it. And no plans are underway, but since it is not under our care, I will not be able to give you the full details of the work, but I know that the work is still ongoing. All right. Surely it is at the heartbeat of the president that this should be built for God. You see, when Solomon, David tried to build a temple for God, it was very surprising. So who is David in this case? I'm coming. When David tried to build the temple for God, God was happy. If you read the book of how do you call it? Hagar, chapter 1. He said, you people say that it's not time for us to build a temple of God. And yet you are putting up your houses, leaving the temple of God to be built. But I tell you, look at how it has ended you. You work enough, but you don't get anything. You go, you work and you bring the money in the heart, but I blow it off to go because you don't think about my temple.
So you don't
and
know the
therefore,
amount of money
and he
that's
said
been
that
raised so far.
I'm coming. He says, go
and
into
when
the forest,
is going to
get
start. I mean,
all
this is biblical. We've heard it before, but
you need to understand.
You're not even debating
you
whether
are
or
not
not it
okay,
is right to
okay.
build it up. It looks like government still wants to go ahead with it anyway.
Yeah.
But my question here is that how much has been raised?
No, what I'm saying is that this is at the office of the president.
You don't know how much has been raised?
No, it's at the office of the president.
When would actual construction start?
No, there's a committee that will come out.
With all of these?
Yeah,
have we relocated the judges who actually live there?
I'm saying it is the committee that will come out before this. It is not in our domain as a ministry.
The religious ministry doesn't care about this?
We care. We have an oversight responsibility.
And your oversight report suggests that what?
We have not gotten there. We have not gotten there. When we get the room, I will come to your studio and I'll give you whatever it is.
That ought to be known in this case. Now, recently, there are complaints that churches are making excessive noise. Some have been taken to court and all of that. How are you going to help resolve this problem? I'm
grateful for this question because there are a lot of issues coming up from the religious, but especially the Christian religion. And we are, as a ministry, is coming out with a policy. The policy document has been drafted. We are yet to meet the various councils to take their input to be part of the whole policy. We'll meet the various stakeholders like the media, the general public, and we'll take input because it's a concern to all of us. Let's look at this issue when even some pastors have to bath even women. Some pastors have to let people bend down and they will stand on them.
I'm talking about excessive noise making.
Oh, well, they are all part. They are all part. That is what I'm saying. These things are... Is it the noise making you are talking about? I don't know. But in every plan or layout, before you be given a land to build on or to establish a church or a plot to establish it, then it means that that area has been earmarked as what? A church structure.
My final word to you is, do you support the call for churches to file their taxes?
To file their church? It depends.
Taxes.
There's a constitution for Ghana. What does the constitution say? That is what
they're supposed to file. I'm asking.
No, I'm saying
the
that
GR
if
is supposed to crack the whip on them.
If the constitution allows it, so be it.
So GR is supposed to crack the whip on them. Do you support that?
I am saying that if the constitution allows it, so be it.
So
when they took the money to Jesus, what did he say? He says, "What belongs to Caesar, give to." So if the constitution of Ghana allows it, so be it.
Thank you so much for coming here today. The Honorable Deputy Minister of Religion and also Chieftaincy, the Honorable Paul Essien. This has been UPfront.